Live from Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital, this is Lunchtime Politics, where we unpack some of your biggest political stories as well as dissect issues of national interest. I am Kelly Egiga, sitting in for Jeffrey. On this Easter Monday, a day marked by reflections, renewal and hope across Nigeria and the world. We're bringing stories that capture the spirit of the season, resilience, unity and new beginnings. So as Christians mark the resurrection, calls for peace and national healing take center stage, and amid ongoing security and economic concerns. And in a season of renewal, we will examine and dissect what Easter truly means for a nation at a crossroads. Can hope truly translate into change? Well, that's our focus this hour on the program. Welcome, everyone. Let's get things started now. The federal government says power generation will now be stable and electricity reliability will improve as President Bola Tinubu has approved a repayment plan to finally settle outstanding debts under the Presidential Power Sector Financial Reforms Program. According to the Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, the debt repayments plan followed the final review of the legacy debts that have beset the power sector for more than a decade. The long-standing debts accumulated between February 2015 and March 2025, following verifications, 3.3 trillion naira has been agreed as a full and final settlement, ensuring a fair and transparent resolution. According to the statement, implementation has begun with 15 power plants signing settlement agreements totaling 2.3 trillion naira. The federal government says it has already raised 501 billion naira to fund these payments. And out of the amount, 223 billion naira has been disbursed, with further payments we hear underway. President Tinubu is said to have commended all stakeholders who supported efforts to resolve the legacy issues in the power sector. He has also confirmed that the next phase, that's the Series 2, will begin this quarter. Let's bring in more stories for you this hour. A former special advisor in the office of the Senate President, Kenny Okolobu, has applauded the ongoing infrastructural strides under President Bola Tinubu and the Delta State Governor Sheriff Oborowori, pointing to noticeable improvements in road networks and street lighting in various communities. Speaking at an Easter outreach program in Upani local government area of that state, Okolobu noted that the visible developments are evidence in focused leadership and a strong drive towards progress.
I'm thanking my ward specifically. You see all this crowd you are seeing, that's my ward, Biaruko. We call them the most unique ward, Ward 9. The most important thing is that anything we tell them, they listen to us. You can see their response. They have always listened to us in terms of elections. They have always listened to us in terms of support. And we are telling them that President Tinubu has done so much for this ward. You cannot believe how much of empowerment that has come in here. We talked about street lights, we talked about road, we talked about pavilion that is coming here. You can't believe that these contracts are worth over 2.5 billion naira only for my community. And so it was important to send the message across to them that they have not lost faith in believing in us. And what we are telling them is that with time, all these economic hardships will ease out, especially because of the Iran and the American war, and all those other things that have made our economy to have a bit of recess from where we are going to. And the fact that the president is well assured of the problems that we have and has said that we are nipping them in the bud, and we can see a strong approach towards nipping them in the bud. That is the hope that we are giving them.
Now, others, statesmen and women in Badagry division of Lagos State are appealing to the leadership of the All Progressives Congress in the states to consider the region for the zoning of the state governorship ticket. The elders say their region hasn't produced a governor since the creation of the state, while also expressing confidence in President Bola Tinubu's government.
Lagos State was created in 1967, and since the creation of the state, there has never been any governor, anybody from Badagry division, both military or civil, civilian government, that has been a head of the government in Badagry, in Lagos State rather. So this is a subtle appeal to the leadership of the party in Lagos State. We people of Badagry division, we are unanimous in appealing to the party and the leadership of APC to zone the governorship of Lagos State to Badagry division.
And we've been in politics for several decades. And Badagry had always been part and parcel of Lagos political scene. But all other divisions in Lagos State have had a shot at the table in Alausa. The Ikorodu has produced governor, both military and civilian. Epe, the same thing. Lagos Island, many times. But Badagry has never been given the position, not for the governor, not for deputy governor, not for secretary to the state government, not for even chief of staff. What have we done? What have we done? Ashwaji used to call us Anugugri, bad agreement, but that has been decades ago. We have changed. We are now in the APC policy, totally and fully committed, and we have always delivered on all the elections. And if we're part of Lagos, then let us have a sense of belonging.
The Adamawa state government has evacuated about 120 of its indigents studying at the University of Jos following renewed violence in Jos, Plateau State. The Adamawa State Commissioner of Education, Umaru Garba Pella, who received the students, says the evacuation became necessary after the state government received distress calls from the affected students. He notes that the swift intervention reflects the administration's commitment to the safety and welfare of Adamawa students.
It's really disheartening that a civil strife like this can affect our studies. As a responsible government, when I got the disparate call from your student leader, I think last 2 days, in the night he called me, and in the morning we were able to mobilize a fast thing to send vehicles to ensure that you are all evacuated and away from the theater of danger. I'm happy that you are all here, and I hope that you get back and join your families peacefully and happily. Your parents will be happy to also receive you in whole one piece, and this is our prayer. As a government, we have a responsibility to protect our citizens wherever they are, and this is just one bit of that responsibility.
Away from Adamawa State, gunmen have attacked Ariko community in Kachia local government area of Kaduna State during Easter church service, killing about 6 worshippers and kidnapping several others. The attack, we hear, which occurred in the early hours of Sunday, targeted 2 churches, First Echo Church and St. Augustine Catholic Church, plunging the community into panic. Residents reported that the attackers arrived in large numbers, surrounded the area and opened fire on people who had gathered for worship. Locals also said the bandits surrounded the churches and shot some worshippers, abducted many others, and stole the offerings released from the day's service. They listed those killed as Aminu Soba, Waziri Agunu, Tankau Haruna Adamu, Chitao Joseph Kungume, and Rabo Atete. Meanwhile, following a distress call, troops of the Nigerian army have successfully thwarted the attack at the community, leading to the rescue of 31 villagers kidnapped during the incident. The operation was launched after security forces received a distress call reporting that armed terrorists had invaded an Equa church and taken worshippers hostage. Acting swiftly, the troops we hear mobilized to the area and with the assistance of local residents tracked the attackers as they attempted to flee. The major counter-offensive by security forces in Zamfara State has left more than 30 bandits dead, including 2 notorious kingpins, Kachalia Ilia Sarki and Dogo Bete. The clash began late Saturday when armed men attacked civilian Joint Task Force operatives in Satsfe local government area, prompting a swift response from a joint security team and an intense gun battle. Among those killed was Ilia Sarki, reportedly linked to notorious bandit leader Ado Alero. Authorities say operations are ongoing with the exact casualty figures yet to be confirmed. However, local sources report that more than 10 JTF members were also killed during the battle, underscoring the heavy toll on community-based security groups. Security forces have since been deployed to restore calm as residents continue to call for lasting solutions to the prolonged violence in the state. This is Lunchtime Politics, and we're making efforts to reach our guests and see how, how sometimes the internet works. But we have a live coverage in just a moment and we'll bring you up to speed with details of this live coverage. But let's quickly also tell you that Christians in Benue, Kwara and Kogi states have marked this year's Easter celebrations with mixed feelings over the security situation in their state. Despite the security challenges, motor parks recorded significant patronage as many residents traveled to celebrate with their loved ones. Meanwhile, Governor Hyacinth Aliyah of Benue State is urging residents and those traveling for the Easter festivities to be vigilant and work with security forces to report any acts capable of breaching the peace it now enjoys.
Hurry across the busy terminal of the Benue Links Motor Park, eager to buy tickets and secure seats on vehicles bound for their various local government areas, hoping to reunite with their loved ones for Easter celebrations. Transporters observe the surge in traffic this season, emphasizing safety over speed. Meanwhile, a determined traveler, Ade Terso, insists that insecurity will not rob them of the joy of Easter.
The turnout we have is almost like the Christmas season last year, and people are still moving, people are still coming, and we are making sure that we make available vehicles for them to enable them to travel.
I feel that yes, the tradition shouldn't just stop because of the insecurity or not because of the challenges we are facing in this country.
The Director General, Air Commodore Jacob Bomwan, assures that Governor Hyacinth Aliyah has deployed security personnel across communities to keep residents safe.
I want to encourage each and every citizen of the state to feel free. Be rest assured that there is enough security to protect you wherever you are.
In Kwara State, the mood is more mixed. Some residents, still reeling from recent insecurity threat, express concern that the situation has hurt their livelihoods. Others, however, believe the state is relatively calm. Helen Mose, a small business owner, laments dwindling patronage, saying customers no longer visit her shop as they once did. But Olalekon Ajibola, a resident of Omogo, a community recently attacked, voices his fear, insisting that his hometown remains unsafe.
Many of our customers, especially those coming from Kayama, you will see them. From Patiji, you will see them. They are scared of using road to come.
I'm supposed to go to my hometown to celebrate, and with the recent kidnap of 8 worshippers at Omogo, I will not be going because the security of life and property in that area is questionable. So I'll be staying here to celebrate with my family.
But some residents in Kwara State believe the wave of insecurity has eased, pointing to the fact that many people are traveling freely for Easter celebrations.
What I think government can do is that they should try to reinforce the security agency and then make everything in order so that it will be able to capture everything to the right way.
In Kogi State, the story is different. The Transport Union reports unusually low traffic this year, with fewer travelers on the roads compared to past festive seasons.
The security, they have to be on their ground and do what they need. I know they say have life. They have life because if you watch most of the things that this security now, even the security when they went to that position themselves, they are at least they are affected. So we just feel that the government should up and do, and let's stand by us.
Still, some travelers acknowledge the risk, but say family obligations compel them to journey despite their fears.
I was not expecting that people would travel as much as they are traveling now. But even with the insecurity and the fuel increase, everybody is still traveling. So I guess they have important things to do.
The prices of transportation is high compared to last year, compared to upper year. Places we go to for 5,000 naira is now like 10,000 naira. And most people cannot afford it. Most Nigerians cannot afford it. That's it.
Although attacks on rural communities in Benue have subsided since last month, killings in Kwande, uncertainty lingers. Road users across Kogi, Kwara and Benue continue to move with caution, never certain what dangers might unfold, even in this season.
In Taraba State, amidst heightened security tensions in Wukari local government area of that state, Governor Agbu Kefas has convened a critical stakeholders meeting to address the issues. The meeting we hear seeks to address concerns over a recent public sermon by a preacher inciting violence in Taraba State. The governor, who is warning against divisive public sermons, is calling for calm, assuring that security remains intact in Taraba State.
Governor Agbu Kefas, alongside some of his cabinet members, are in the palace of the paramount ruler of Wukari chiefdom to meet with the people with a view to ensuring peace and security in the area. Wukari recently witnessed a security breach that led to the death of one person in the area. Governor Kefas expresses concern over the development and calls for peace.
The peace we're enjoying in Taraba State is still fragile. We have been working day and night. We have borders with 6 states. So if we come together, we can turn all these, our borders, into trade zone instead of war zone.
He wants those inciting violence to desist as he clarifies alleged military involvement in sponsoring crisis.
When issues like these arises, the next thing is that those of us that are military people or retired or serving will be alleged that we are the one sponsoring crisis, we're the one buying arms, we're the one giving weapons to people to fight. And I know that as an investigator, any weapon that you gave to anybody can be traced back to the source.
The traditional institution thanks Governor Kefas for stepping in to address the matter.
We have to advise ourselves. Anybody who want to, or we identify anybody who want to preach bring problem, preach contrary to his faith, we stop him. We stop him from preaching in the town because we want to remain peaceful.
The chairman of Wukari Local Government Council also assures that sermons that may incite violence will no longer be tolerated.
A sermon was preached, and to us we consider the content of that sermon as incitement. Not only incitement, we think it's a kind of hate speech in which we will not like, won't tolerate. And as a reaction to it, we are calling for this meeting so as to address the matter squarely.
As Governor Kefas takes his leave, The meeting goes into a closed-door session to discuss how to strengthen security and peace of the council. A report is expected to be submitted to the governor afterwards.
And in Gombe State, the government there has reiterated its commitments to investing in youth empowerment programs that will enable the youths contribute meaningfully to the development and security of that state. The permanent secretary in the Ministry of Internal Security and Home Affairs in Gombe State made the pledge at a one-day summit on youth inclusion in governance and the fight against insecurity put together by the Coalition of Nigerian Students in Security and Safety Affairs for Youths in the Northeast region.
Youths from the 6 states in the Northeast region of Nigeria, alongside security experts and government officials, converge on Gombe State for a one-day summit to brainstorm on ways to tackling the security challenges bedeviling the region.
And executed with alarming sophistication and impunity.
At the heart of the conversation is a growing concern that young people are increasingly becoming victims of insecurity and not enablers.
If you deal with this issue and get an effective result, these young people need to be in the round table with the elderly ones, where decisions and policy that fall back on them are being made. When they are not there, their opinion are not seek. How these policies can work, you do not consult them. Whereby how it can work is best known to them. You don't get them involved. So 2 different ideologies will be on play.
Experts say the root causes of insecurity, such as poverty, unemployment, corruption, falling standard of education and family values, must be addressed, as tackling insecurity requires both kinetic and non-kinetic approaches.
Everybody here is representing an organization, and in that organization we have youths, we have parents. So we know that whatever they learn here, they can go back and revert it to their members to ensure that everybody gets the knowledge.
For the Gombe State government, investing in youth empowerment programs is non-negotiable.
The youth are the essential part. They are the power that involved in placing the security forward in Gombe State. So what we now deliver to them is to encourage them and to see that they are not left behind.
Participants at the summit speak on the lessons learned.
This kind of summit is very important to converge all the youth of the 6 states at one place, and all the security agencies also, to discuss about peace and unity between the youth and at large.
The take-home from this summit is that meaningful youth inclusion, education reform and targeted policy implementation are critical to addressing insecurity and building a more stable Nigeria.
And with that report from Gombe State, we end the program this hour. Thanks indeed for watching. On behalf of the production team and everyone here, I am Kelly Egiga, and you have just been served on Lunchtime Politics. Happy holidays.